Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Pillars of Eternity with me, Break It Dawn. Let's go and speak to the last group of gods. Before this shrine sits the constellation of a snarling hound, fangs bared. Pray to Galawain. You kneel before the shrine and prepare to recite the ritual words. Survival begins with strength from within. The air around you stirs, and a gust of warm wind blows across the back of your neck. You catch the faintest smell of wet earth. As you kneel in front of the shrine, you feel yourself pushed forward. You catch yourself on your hands and knees, feeling warm, damp ground beneath them. Looking around, you find yourself crouched in a clearing in the middle of the woods. The smell of dirt hangs heavy in the air. You feel certain this is a vision, but the hairs on the nape of your neck still rise. Something leaps from the bushes. You find yourself pinned on your back and staring into the amber eyes of a massive hound. The beast looks at you. Gleaming fangs protrude from the sides of its mouth. Its nose twitches as it inhales your scent, starting at your shoulder, proceeding down the length of your arm. You follow its nose to your hand, which is covered in blood. A tongue as red and meaty as a steak lolls out of its mouth and swipes your bloody hand. Its lips curl into what looks like a smile. The beast looks back at you, and as it fixes you with its glowing eyes, its muzzle retreats into a long, bearded face, and its pointed ears lengthen, dropping to the sides of its head. But as a massive hound becomes a giant of a man, his broad, muscled shoulders draped with furs. He holds a flint knife to your neck and grins, revealing a row of long, pointed teeth. That's one way to make an introduction, I suppose.
The lioness reigns still, and soon her cubs will rise. Why did you strike the bear down?
His voice is a growling whisper. If Aronos could not seize his victory, he did not deserve it.
As always, you sniff out the heart of the matter. Worthiness is proven in conflict. Might grappling with might. Flesh tears, bones break, and the ones that mend are stronger still. Blood mixes, and the worthier substance rises to the top. And you have proven worthy.
He roars. The changeling throws his head back and closes his eyes, breathing deeply of the cool air. He lets out a howl that rings through the air. He lowers his head, puffs of steam rising from his panting mouth. Twigs crunch and branches snap. The ground shivers under the weight of pacing, prowling footsteps. A dozen beasts, bears, wolves, and long-fanged cats, stalk out of the undergrowth, their matching amber eyes fast on you. Aloth takes a step back from the beasts. Just how real do you think this is? As the beasts encircle you, their master rises to his feet. Even the largest of bears can only reach his brown and muscle-knotted shoulders. You stand, mindful of the ring of predators surrounding you.
You sought and won the favor of Galawain. What new prey do you now pursue?
You already know who I'm looking for.
To track a quarry, you must understand its movements. And Theos follows the path of a more powerful master.
Galawain, the changeling, bares his sharpened teeth again. A warm breeze carries the smell of smoke and gunpowder. Sparks ignite and float into the draft, catching in the leaves over Galawain's head. A sudden blast of heat scalds your face, and even as you turn away, a flash of light sears your vision through your eyelids. When you look back, you see a woman in full plate standing next to Galawain. Her mirror-polished armor flickers with images of reflected flames. You can't see her face, but her voice is strong and clear, like the ringing of steel.
Let him know his foe.
Theos has trapped thousands of souls in sun and shadow like rabbits in a snare. Now, he goes there to retrieve the kill for his master Woodiga.
One of the bears paws at the ground in irritation, its hackles rising.
She will feast on them, suck their marrow, grow strong on their essence.
The god closes his eyes and inhales deeply. As a Stelgar watches you, it licks its lips, its tongue scraping long fangs. Why would Theos help Woedica?
Because he is her hound. He has always done her bidding.
His eyes dart to another figure standing just behind Mogren.
Woodica stands for an old order. So does Theos.
Her helm pivots sharply toward him. A golem made of blackened, pitted iron steps out of Mogren's shadow. Its movements are slow yet precise, each footfall accompanied by the groaning and grinding of metal. The steady orange glow of furnace coals emanates from its eye sockets. In Abaddon's crude yet efficient form, you see an uncanny resemblance to the eyeless, yet his limbs are more finely wrought, his joints more flexible. You also feel the essence of the eyeless teeming within him.
They both fear change, and the Dyrwood has changed much recently. People find answers not in the gods, but in animancy, the product of their own labors.
The gear clicks within its jaw, and Abaddon speaks.
And why not? When they have learned that even a god can be killed.
Reflected flames shiver in Mogren's armor. She says that like it wasn't her followers that unleashed the Godhammer. Animancy doesn't seem to trouble you. Three gods seem to look at one another. One of the wolves sits and scratches its neck with quick strokes of its hind leg.
The clash of ideas, the search for answers and meaning. These are other hunts.
Galawain shrugs his broad shoulders. They would supplant you. How can you accept this so easily?
This is the destiny of Kith, to struggle and transform, even through animancy.
Mogren's pauldrons shift as she claps her hands behind her back.
And to improve. Steady labor and earnest industry elevate Kith above wilder and beast. It is also useful that they should learn to improve their souls, whether through struggle, transformation, or labor. On this, at least, we have no disagreement.
Abaddon's voice creaks and sighs. A scarred Stelgar growls and flicks its tail. If only all the gods' followers were as open-minded about animancy as you three. You haven't done anything to stop Theos.
There is a pact. One Woodica herself has just barely kept. We gods must allow mortals to direct their own affairs.
This limit keeps peace between us.
So Woodica directs Theos, and he does her will.
Palagina sneers with contempt. Weaving through loopholes is in a divine contract. I'm not surprised to hear that the gods are just as unethical as mortals when it suits them.
It is not our fight.
One wolf nips at another, and its fellow growls back. What should I do about it?
Track Theos. Follow the trail he has left for you, and corner him in sun and shadow.
You have hired out your strength in the service of others, Watcher. Now we ask that you employ your talents for the benefit of all of the Dyrwood. You must stop Theos before he empowers Woodica.
And if you do, you will have a different decision to make.
Gears whir and clank as Abaddon gives you a slow nod. And if you believe you're free to make that decision how you wish it, you've not been listening to our conversations along the road.
Souls were ripped from the world, ripe and full and pulsing with essence. Scatter them like bones to a pack of dogs. Their essence will strengthen the souls of the Dyrwood. Let the remains of the dead feed the survivors.
Why would I feed the lost soul's essence to the rest of the Dyrwood?
To breed strength. Power is born from the mixing of essence and blood.
The wolves snarl and snap.
What Theos did cannot be undone. Thousands of lives have changed, and thousands more have ended because of his actions. But transformation gives purpose to trial.
A plume of flame ripples across her breastplate.
And improvement is the goal of all Kith. Long lives, prosperous futures, stronger minds and bodies. Strengthening those who remain will help repair the damage that Theos has done to the Dyrwood.
I thought you served the cause of preservation, Abaddon.
Essence cannot remain in a dead body, any more than oil in a broken jar.
Even though the stolen lives cannot be preserved, their essence can be used to ensure the survival of the Dyrwooden remnant. Thus, the memory and vision of the lost may live beyond them. This is the nature of preservation.
If Wodaka can accomplish this, then perhaps she deserves her victory. Don't agree with that, but just exploring all the dialogue. The bear at Galawain's side rises on its hind legs and roars. It falls back on all fours with a ground-shaking thud. Galawain points his chipped flint dagger at you.
A victory that leaves her ruler of all. No room for conflict, no struggle, not even between the gods.
Be careful what you wish for, mortal. Wodaka's ways are regressive. Her laws never change, her authority never ebbs, and she never forgets a slight.
Wodaka would crush the Dyrwood simply out of vengeance for the rebellion against Adir, her favorite. She would stamp out Animancers, Godslayers from the Saints' War, and anyone else she viewed as heretical or dangerous.
And who more dangerous to her than a watcher who prods at her schemes? I don't see why I should care.
Because your soul will be at her mercy, and already you know too much.
Wodaka will not keep the Pact. She will interfere with mortals the very way we have always avoided. Your development will no longer be in your own hands.
Stagnation. You will be caged and stunted.
Stelgar roars. Now I've got to find Theus.
And when you descend the pit to Sun in Shadow, you can count on our assistance to see you safely through. As I hope we can count on yours when you reach the bottom. There are many souls upon the Burial Isle that are sworn to serve us. They belong to you now, and they shall guide your descent.
Mogren steps closer, her brilliant armor ringing with each movement. Endurance's face is grave. Beware the promises of a God Watcher. They are binding, but only in one direction. The beasts grow restless, pawing the ground and eyeing you with renewed interest. The bear sniffs at the ground next to your leg. One Stelgar skulks into the circle, its amber eyes glowing. Galawain hurls his knife between your feet, sinking it to its handle. He raises his empty hand.
Hunt him, mortal. And when you stop him, let the souls he has captured feed the Dyrwood.
Strengthen the souls of those who remain. Prepare them to face the challenges that will follow. Pledge that you will do this, and we will grant you a power fit for the finest warrior who ever lived.
Betray us, and my beasts shall track you down. Our allegiance is not to be accepted and cast aside.
Alright, so this is interesting. We've now spoken to all four groups of gods. We've got all four options. We can either destroy the souls, for Reimergond, Skyne, and Andra. We can give the souls back to the Hollowborn through Hyleia. What did Bareth want? Well, this group wants us to feed these souls to the souls that already inhabit bodies to strengthen them, is what I gathered. Oh, Bareth wants us to return them to the wheel, so they can come back. But we know, even Bareth, I think Bareth was the one that said that the souls will eventually turn to dust. After they go through the wheel so many times, I guess each time they come back weaker and weaker. So I'm wondering if this is the best course of action. I'm a little biased because I think Abaddon is my favorite of the gods. I also like Galawain, and well, I kind of like Galawain. And Mogren to an extent. I like what she represents. So I'm wondering... I mean, Hyleia seems like the most benevolent of the gods. But do we want to return weak souls back to, like, feral children? We're not sure how that's going to play out. Because the souls will be returned to the children, but a lot of them will just be stuck in the wilds. A lot of the Hollowborn have been abandoned. I'm wondering if this is the best choice. Because this, again, this counters entropy. From my understanding, this will strengthen the souls so that they last longer. There will be less souls, though. That only pertains to the Dyrwood. Or the souls that have been stolen from the Dyrwood. It's not the entire planet. Oh, this is a tough choice. I think I'm going to go with Gallowayne and company. Because I don't really care for Andra. Plus, I've already slighted her once, so I'm sure she's not going to favor me too much. You know, Reimergon represents entropy. Skyn just seems sketchy in general. Hylea seems nice, but I don't know if returning the souls immediately to the Hollowborn's the best idea. And I'm not against Bareth's plan either, just to return the souls to the wheel and bring them back. But eventually they're going to crumble. And this will delay that. So let's go with option 1. I pledge now that I shall convert the captured souls into essence to strengthen the Dyrwood.
The bargain is struck, Watcher. Keep your part.
Gallowayne lunges for you and sinks a hatchet into your chest. You cry out, but the pain passes quickly. Energy and power seep into you through the wound. And when Gallowayne withdraws, the flesh knits again to contain something warm and pulsing with power. Oh, I didn't realize I got a boon. The vision vanishes in an instant, returning you to Tyr Evron, where burning candles replace the glowing eyes of Gallowayne's beasts. That'd be a really cool scene to see. Alright, so Gallowayne's boon. What does that do? Oh, nice. Blessing from the god Gallowayne, +1 might and +1 athletics.
Huh?
Yeah, I know a lot of people are still going to suffer because the Hollowborn still exist. But I think this might be better in the long run. I still think it's a hard choice. I mean, I think on the surface, Hylea seems like the best. But I don't think it's that simple. I could be wrong. Also, Grieving Mother was 100% on board with Hylea. So maybe that's a sign that was the best option. Because when speaking to Gallowayne and company, all I got was warnings from Durance. But when speaking to Hylea, I was encouraged to follow her plan. Plus, Mogren did appeal to my mercenary background, so... there's always that. Oh, and my rational disposition came up too. 2 of my character's traits did come up in the conversation with Gallowayne, Mogren, and Abaddon.
Sure.
I remember when I was a girl, and the missionaries came and told us about the gods. They said we could see them in the stars.
Avara looks off in the distance at something only she can see.
I remember when I heard that, I snuck out at night and climbed the watchtower in the old fort because I wanted to see them better. That fort burned down a few years ago when we cast the missionaries out. It was the missionaries who set fire to it. They didn't want us to be able to use it. Shame. There was history in that fort.
They'll do a lot worse if they ever return. Those missionaries are all Inquisitors now. Strange to think they're the same people underneath. I suppose you would know. She looks at you. This is your home as much as it is mine. Do you worry about it? Our being here puts Kratom at risk. I wish I could say I thought otherwise, but hearing someone else say it helps settle some things in my mind.
I miscalculated many things since this began. I'm relieved you weren't one of them. It's a good thing we didn't hang you. I always knew this path would have consequences, but I never wanted to see Kratom suffer on my behalf.
She looks off again.
I don't think I can stay here any longer. I am told the Inquisition is gathering an army, that they have sent messengers to bargain with rulers from distant lands. Kratom is not built to withstand a siege. If war is coming, I should be doing what Theos is doing. I will need allies. Allies in a stronghold that can resist an invading army.
You can feel words formed long ago, rising in your throat like a toxic black bile. Have you thought about Oceanus?
Oceanus. They have held off many would-be invaders, and their king has no love of the Inquisition's faith. I wonder, would he listen? I'm ready. My mind.
That's it! Let's go! Steady does it.
Okay, there's a doorway. Let's not interact with that quite yet. Well, at least Provius isn't in our party right now, so he can't be upset if we're looting all of his dead.
I'll see what I can find.
Like a weird place to burn people at the stake. Well, let's run back here, because we left some souls. I think we're supposed to be collecting these as we go. This is enclosed, and it's not really a public viewing. If you burn people at the stake, it's usually so other people can see it. Collected 4. That makes 6.
My mind.
Got him!
Your thoughts must...
Yes.
Sit! Let's go! Let's go! Let's go!
That's a really satisfying spell to see proc on melee attacks. Just comes out of the sky and pierces them, and they usually die right after. Ingwithan Adraban Amulet. +3 might. Carved from a solid piece of Adra and decorated with woven brass. This amulet appears to be extremely old. It is slightly warm to the touch. See, this makes a little more sense. So when people walk up here, they see it. Though they didn't leave a lot of room on the path for people to walk through. It's like a fire hazard.
I'm...
Gotcha! Let's go! Right.
Nice and quiet.
Yeah, so I wonder if it's possible to not grab all these souls. Wonder what happens if you don't. Really can't read that? It's lame. Alright, so this is where we need to go. I'll go back and explore that blocked passage.
Another turn, Inquisitor.
They signal some unseen attendant standing beside a large crank.
I ask again, Jovara Ixensios, do you confess to these heresies of which you stand accused?
He waits, but Yavara only stares straight ahead, her face stony, the creak of her restraints the only sound.
Do you confess to apostasy?
I confess to renouncing a mistake.
She opens her mouth to speak, strands of thin spittle spanning from one lip to the other, like a spider's threads.
Do you confess to conspiracy against the one true faith?
I confess to opening minds.
Do you confess to false prophecy?
I confess to following a false prophet.
Indeed. And where might we find this heretic?
Theus pauses, his eyes narrow.
He wears the robes of a Grand Inquisitor.
You have no followers here, heretic. Your lies hold no sway in the court of the penitents.
Theus purses his lips.
Only my truth, then.
Yvara seems to look directly at you.
Another turn.
Theus nods to the Inquisitor at the crank.
No! Wait! Wait! I'm ready. I'm ready.
You are ready to give a confession?
Theus signals the Inquisitor to hold.
I'm ready to hear one from you.
Yvara gasps for breath, gathering up what little strength she has left to speak. Theus shakes his head and points to the Inquisitor, and the scraping grind of rusted gears echoes in your mind as the apparitions fade away.
When you get to the bottom, holler up here. Let me know if it's safe.
Adair, I think you misunderstand. You're the tank. You're going first. The towering stone creature is cold and slimy with fungal growth. Its horns look sharp enough to saw through lumber. Alright, so let's head back down here. And in the next episode, I'm assuming this just takes us up to this doorway. I think, was it right there? It's a sort of shortcut. But we'll explore it next time before we descend into the pit. Alright, so I'm going to call it here, and that's what we'll do next time. Go through this passage, see what's in there, and then go down here. But for now, thanks for watching. I will see you guys in the next one.